Welcome, Speed Gaming fans, to the Speed Gaming Live 2023 Final Fantasy Randomizer race between Serisan and Phoenix29. My name is Fabian Hawk. With me in the booth today is Melee Wizard with our tracker Sprocket. Melee Wizard, what are we looking with this Forced Party and Blur 6?
Yep, so now we've got the obligatory black belt, and our other melee party member is the thief, and our starting mage is the red mage. And things are, we are getting very physical here. The thief had plus 20 strength, the red mage has plus 10 strength, and the black belt can use gauntlets and helmets for all the good that... Well, it might do some good in the early goings, but after that...
Well, the good news for the racers is we only have a single buff. We have no negatives, except for the fact that nun and that solo caster they get is the only caster they'll have until they find a recruitable wizard that is out on the map. There's one of each to my knowledge. Otherwise, they don't get the tail, and there is no Masa, so they're limited in their party selection.
Yep, and who knows where those recruitable wizards are going to be. They'll be accompanying certain NPCs that we'll be finding across, getting items from.
It will be interesting to see if the racers choose to switch out any of their party members or pick up one to replace that nun, especially since we do not have the nuns gain experience flag. So right now, that 3-man party is only giving experience to those 3 active party members, which helps with that focused experience on the black belt party.
Assuming that once the grind happens, the other two party members probably won't be up for very long anyway.
Indeedly do. I will say, I believe that their party that they got is probably the best they could get in this situation, giving the thief for the evasion and early run capability, the obligatory black belt as we know for the punch everything to death, and the red mage because it can't use all the magic, but it can use most of the magic, and depending on what they find, that single red mage may well be enough as a backup melee and primary caster.
It all depends on what kind of magic are in the early levels, what kind of weapons we find.
Indeedly do. It is all up to what the seed has rolled for our racers tonight.
Yep, and we will be our runners will be on their way any moment now. And also another couple of things about this particular flag set: we only need 3 out of the 4 orbs, so one of the feeds does get to live. And also we start with a random caster item to help make things a little bit easier in the early going.
It would be kind of hilarious if they were to get the Thor hammer, because we did get the specs for what the Thor or the fighter would have had that they did not get, and it would have Thor hammer buff, which is absurd, but they didn't get the fighter.
Yep. Oh, hello. I saw Fade level 1 in level 1 white magic.
Invis 2 on top of that. That is an immediate excellent sweeper. It is near enough to nuke for this race to get going. That plus the caster item gives them the ability to deal with a lot of party grinds that they could get if they found, for instance, the metal slime tile.
And it looks like there was some chain armor for the red mage, which is also good. And our starting caster item is the mage. Was the mage staff, which is good because there's a decent bit of undead in the early going, so that'll prove its worth.
Indeed, and I did notice that the imps have some poison ability, so that's really annoying.
Yeah.
So far, I haven't seen anything else. Looks like Phoenix is going straight for Garland, not bothering to get these early chests.
Ice Sword -1, not a bad weapon.
And Garland down. With that one less party member running the 3-man forced, that does mean that all the experience is only going on those 3 party characters, and that is the herb from the king and the slab from the princess. So she's forcing her homework onto the heroes. She was supposed to learn the Fanian as a royal, but nope, the heroes get to.
That also doesn't really give us a whole lot of places we can go to. It's pretty much Provoker or Bust now.
True, taking the long walk all the way to Elfland from here just to turn that herb as opposed to going all the way to Provoca, getting that level 2 magic, and killing Bicky's pirate band, yeah, Provoca's the better option. Bicky might even have a boat.
Given what we've seen, I'd almost be a little surprised if it wasn't. But one quick mage staff shot, all the pirates go down. Probably another couple levels on top of it, and we'll see what we get.
Level 5 already across the party, and there's a bottle.
Okay, alright.
I guess the pirate that stole the ferry didn't sell it off to the caravan after all, he just gave it to a pirate captain.
Let's see, wall, that's pretty good. Saber,
Serisan choosing to sell off that sword that was found. He can't really use that -1 ice sword with any of his party members, so it makes sense it's 5 gold.
Really?
I believe.
Really? I'm pretty sure the red mage could use that.
If it can, he's not dealing with it at the moment.
Well, I guess the mage staff is it's doing a good enough job right now. Anyway,
Do notice that Provoca looks a little different. This is one of the flags we have. It randomizes the shop locations in Provoca just because we can. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's more annoying.
And Chad confirming that the Invis 2 in level 1 was Red Wizard locked, unfortunately. So
sad.
But that fade is still there, and it will still pack a punch.
Yeah, indeed. Probably early game, the fade is what matters vastly more than having that invis. So if they find a white mage or white wizard or a red wizard and choose to go that route, they can.
Alright, we're taking the long walk towards Elfland. Serisan taking a brief stop in Dwarf Cave, getting a little bit of extra cash, and Phoenix actually going straight to Marsh Cave.
Yeah, just going with that dive into Marsh first. Gonna go Marsh top because we do have an incentive item here in Marsh Cave, but it is a randomized chest in Marsh. It won't be in one of the locked chests on the bottom floor, but it could be on one of these chests at top, and he'll save a good chunk of diving if he can find it up top in the attic.
Oh, ghouls have rub.
And
I saw cremate. Oh, ow, that, oof.
That fade and that mage stick, pretty effective, but not effective if your party members using them die.
Yeah.
That thief may be good for running, but when you have a large pack, it's not necessarily going to have that chance to run.
And I think I saw a sleep touch in there too, and oop, there's the ship.
One item found, and it is the boat to get around the inner sea. Still need to get that canal to get out of the inner sea, but that is a first chest find, and both our racers are booking it out immediately.
So, given where we are I assume that the boat would end up at Elfland, given where we are, yes?
Yes. By the map's design, the only place they could possibly get the boat at this point is Elfland, because we do have extended open progression on, which allows them to walk all the way around the inner sea to Dwarfs and Elfland, but normally it would not be possible for you to be here without it.
Yeah, just the thought. Whenever you get the boat, whenever you get the ship, it is immediately at the closest dock, which I assume was Elfland in this case.
Yes. That is generally true.
Alright, now we have turning in the herb. Let's see what we get. It is TNT.
The prince had some fireworks under his pillow. And we get a look at level 3 and eventually level 4 magic. Lit 3 and Quake. Gotta love some Quake for that Earth Feed if they fight it. I forgot what its name is. Speed Bump, I think?
And Serisan is grabbing that White Wizard.
Don't blame him, and he'll be happy he did, because that was life or life that was mage or wizard locked, he's gonna have level 3 life for that white mage or wizard.
And there's Cure 4 in level
well.
4.
That Harm 4 is also usable as a damage spell by that white mage because we have the white mage harm damage to all flag enabled. And in fact, Phoenix is going right back there, is going to pick up the same character, potentially, get the turn in, having gone to Elfland first. Nope, choosing not to.
Okay.
Having seen the magic, I would have thought he would have gotten it, because there is a lot of value in that. But he wants to stick with the 3-man currently, and I don't blame him necessarily. As he goes through and gets the necessary magic that he chooses, or checking the cost of the magic, not having all that much gold. Toxic. The seas are dangerous.
Oh boy.
Serisan going straight up, getting that fade for his white wizard, as well as the invis too.
Oh, actually, nope. Got healed instead. Yeah. Alright, so Phoenix making it to Dwarf Cave. Let's see what the TNT becomes.
Passing up the Hooray Dwarf the first time through. Have to wonder if he'll chat to him later. And that is the Crown. Really good proximity for that check. You don't have to get in the boat. You can just run straight down Northwest Castle.
But in its own way, the seed is kind of giving the runners the runaround in the early goings.
It is a speed run after all. You got your steps in. Now what will... Oop, hey! Serisan doing the right thing, freeing the Hooray Dwarf from his one-word hell. First encounter for Phoenix against the Dark Elf King. Gonna go ahead and just use Fade, gonna use the Mage Stick, not bothering to try and punch with his Punch Master. It is not online, only getting to level 7 with that fight. And there's the canal, that is access to the Outer Sea.
Yeah, though without the canoe, that does still limit what we can do. That's access to Melmond and Earth Cave, that's access to Crescent Lake, and not a heck of a lot else.
Yep, but pre-lock Earth Cave's not a horrible place to check, given the fact that they find that grind early on, say, the Hall of Giants tiles or the third encounter tile on Earth 1, that could get very fast grind going. We might see them pop over that way, especially they do have the slabs, so they are somewhat incentivized to at least pop into Melman. Otherwise, they're probably going to go straight to Crescent, which Phoenix looks like he is.
Oh, yep, definitely. And Serisan is stopping in Melman instead.
Proper divergence, gotta love it. And first, Phoenix taking that fight.
Ooh, there's exit in 5.
Yep, and it is actually... Wait, no, that's white magic, so exit should be learnable by that the white mage, or white wizard, so... I was thinking warp in the vanilla slot in black, but no, that's exit. Phoenix taking these few fights on the way to Crescent, gonna get those experience. There's a lot of reasonably good Ooh, hello.
Yeah, that's oof. And those were the regular Sahags that had the toxic.
Yep.
Those things
everywhere.
can come in some good numbers.
Phoenix already at level 10 across the board, has that level advantage, but hey, take those fights has ceded his progress in the map to Serisan.
Ooh, Serisan can only afford to revive 1.
Wow, the Crescent Lake item shop only got some potions and some cabins, nothing special there. Serisan also skipping a look at that level 5 magic.
And there's the canoe.
Is this even randomized? Ooh, pro rings, only 9,000 or so in the shop there, that's excellent to see.
And level 6 magic. Oop, there's Fast and Nuke.
Okay, the black magic is the value there, and some EXPs, or at least one of them for Serisan, going to take that fight, as his opponent Phoenix gets the canoe out of the vanilla sages.
And that fight was largely just to get the funds to get the red mage back up.
Fair enough. Both racers, full party up, 3 on Phoenix's side, 4 on Serisan's side, and they're going immediately out. They both have this knowledge, evidently, of a EXP pack immediately off the hard reset. Looks like Phoenix not bothering to use save items, gonna take the time to run in. It's not that long of a run. Hoping he gets more than just one, and in fact Serisan, you saw, didn't want to deal with it, is just resetting out of the single EXP fight. There you go, he's not going to reset out of the 4-pack.
Definitely not, nope.
If Fade is your primary way of killing them all, then it takes the same amount of time or very little difference to get that kill when you have more of them. Now there is a slight grind advantage for Phoenix here because he has one fewer party member. That is one fewer action that his game has to take on his party side. So all things being equal, not only is his party getting 1/3 more experience per fight, character for character, than Serisan's is, his grinds are actually taking less time to happen.
And Phoenix hit level 12 and is on his way.
Understandably so. At this point, he could go to Volcano to check some grinds and some items, but he is most likely going straight to Ice. So this is our only incentive check at this point, outside of going all the way back to Ordeals otherwise.
And not to mention having that mage staff will be of some help in here.
It may well be. As
Not against the wizards though.
Very true. As Phoenix gets that first encounter in Ice Cave, Serisan is back to the grind with the EXPs, really wants to stack some gold in his pocket and bring his levels up before he dies. It's one of the most annoyingly early game dungeons in the Randomizer. That shouldn't be early game, because it's the Randomizer. Oh, in fact, it looks like he's either going to take the boat to the top river dock, or he might even just go down to Ordeals.
Oh, we got petrification in this group, in this enemy group. Didn't see what it was, but didn't see.
Good news is those creatures do not come in many packs later in the game, so find it now and it's off the table. And it looks like Serisan might just leave that thief down. A stone thief still gives its chance of running, but doesn't take any experience. It's like having a dead character that can be revived with a soft potion. You see Serisan is actually doing some nip. He's burning off a few encounters on the encounter table before diving in. Classic Gamer, unfortunately we did not see exactly what it was. We just know it was either some snakes or some lobsters.
Yeah, the cobras and scorpions, yes. Which will be a bit of a concern if our runners end up diving Earth later.
With that said, of the 3 orbs only needed, if they don't get the rod, they do get the Oxio, Cube, and Chime. The racers might not even touch Earth, even to check the Titans, or even to check the Hall of Giants.
Right.
Lobsters are indeed sea bugs, so that comparison there, Classic, is pretty apt. Ooh, the wizards have Invis too.
Oh, yay.
The biggest time waster pack that Phoenix could possibly find. At least it wasn't Heal 2 or something like that. Ooh, hyenas have blaze. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah, and we got adamant in ice, and Phoenix is out.
Gotta love that random incentive item location did not have to drop down, and thus did not have to run all the way through the entire place. He missed 4 or 5 chests out of that entire dive, but he is not unhappy to see it. Now, one thing to note,
I didn't really see much else as far as like good items is concerned. I think the best item I saw was like what, ice armor, and nobody can use that.
pretty much. The one thing to note, Serisan's burning off those encounters before entering put him on a different set of the encounter table, which would explain why Phoenix didn't see anything that Serisan saw about that deadly spell cast.
Although if that was the wizard ogre and such, that was from a trap tile.
That was hyenas. Was that on a trap tile?
Yeah, because they're not a random encounter in ice. Because it looks like we've got random encounters on the trap tiles today.
Yes, we do.
Because I saw that it was a random chance of being one thing or another regarding those.
Well, there's a wizard staff if you want to confuse a carry.
Well, I mean, assuming that we have carry, because we do have alternate fiends here.
Ooh, all the fun. Not only is it a different fiend, like a shuffled which fiend is where, it's literally a different fiend as in a fiend that didn't necessarily even exist in Final Fantasy 1. We could have the Black Knight from Final Fantasy 2. Among many others. With very beautiful custom sprites thanks to our community members.
Serisan getting that adamant as right as Phoenix is turning it in. Quite a linear seed so far, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, going out, getting items, coming right back, and good proximity check, just like the Marsh check going to the TNT taking to the crown. The adamant takes us right over to Melman Continent. Phoenix taking this chance to translate the slab.
Yeah, that is definitely not something you want to forget.
The Oompa Loompa is real. And copper bracelets, not horrible armor.
Thing is, I could have sworn I saw silver bracelets in Crescent Lake.
Serisan sipping some lemonade rather than chewing on a ruby. But Ice 3 is the strongest of the elemental magics. Might be worth getting, although Fade at level 1 is still substantially more powerful, except for the few characters that are straight weak to ice.
Which I believe that circumstance, if enemy is weak to ice, Ice 3 could actually do more damage than a nuke.
Serisan yet again burning off some encounters outside of Melmond, as Phoenix is just saying ducks to it and is going straight in to trade in his ruby for access to the 4 chests here, which is an incentive item check.
Alright. More fetch questing. Well, we do have one more item to get from Sarda.
Indeedly do. This ruby or lemonade, respectively, is a quick check. Serisan actually going up, exiting, and saving. He has exit, and he can just cast that if it's something he wants to keep, or he can just reset out if it's not. He's going to take the crystal. He's going to get the other boxes and exit out. Meanwhile, Phoenix all the way down to Sarda. Let's see what the old man has.
And it's the Oxyale, so that's... Well, we don't have the access to it yet, but... Because I don't think we have Northern Docks on.
I believe not. What we do have is, well, an unlock to a dungeon. It's a French vanilla unlock. Instead of getting the rod, we get the Oxyale, but hey, it's still an unlock. Only need one more to go. If they get the rod or if they get the Cuban chime, that is all the dungeons they need.
Yep, since we have everything we need to get through Volcano already, so that's one.
Looks like Phoenix is going to go ahead and chase down the turn-in of the crystal. Makes sense to do so, because if he does get the grind going, the more incentive items he has in his inventory, the faster the grind goes. He gets more experience and more gold for his party. Meanwhile, does Serisan choose to check Earth Cave while he's here, check those early grind tile locations? It's possible proximity play. Nope, he is going to follow with Phoenix and go straight for the turn-in.
And there's the big one. That's the floater.
Phoenix not even bothering with raiding or claws. He's got what he wants. A short ship ride down to the lower river dock and save and go. And Serisan not that far behind.
And we do have the Ryukon Desert dock open, but when you're already in the inner sea, you have the canoe. It's probably just faster doing it this way.
Deedly do. And with that long run that Phoenix has here somewhere in the encounter table, that's very nice to see. But now overworld runs are mostly irrelevant. And with the bottle in hand, this is the perfect proximity check. Just straight down to dock or to land. Checking that level 7 magic, although he does not have a black mage or white or a black wizard or white wizard.
That was a loot. That was the loot in the item shop. And there's a black wizard by the ferry. That has a chime.
And Phoenix not bothering with the black wizard, gonna stick with his default 3-man party. If he has the money, or looks like he's going to the store, nope, the inn. I figured if he had the items to sell, he would go back and buy the loot by selling something off, but nope, he's going to go straight down now that he's got his chime. He's going to talk to the Lefanians. Having done the prince's homework.
And red ankylos. Ooh, ouch.
Those are the fun police characters there, the stupidly tough, not worth anything. Thankfully, we do not have unrunnables enabled for our racers. That would be the fun police.
At least we would know right away if they were unrunnable.
That loot is 46,000 gold, so
Oh,
they know where it
okay.
is.
I didn't even see how many digits. I thought that was only 4 digits. My mistake.
Now, unfortunately, it is not in Canaria, where it, by design, has to be a low-cost item. It is in Gaia, where it can be as expensive as one. And ooh, we have a incentivized bonk item. That is a fast bonk. That will, when cast on a character, double the number of hits. And with the black belt, doubling its hits is just silly.
Yep. We saw the Red Wizard was in Lefane as well, and Phoenix decided, nope, 3 is good.
I'll be honest, I think Phoenix is doing the right thing given the situation. Just go straight with what you've got. He's got good casters. He's got a good caster. He's got good items and spells.
Ooh, Serisan reset out of getting the fast gauntlet.
That, I admit, is interesting. Now, it looks like Serisan is going to use the proximity play and check the desert side counters. Meanwhile, Phoenix made the run to Cardia and got the incentive item. That was the rod, so that's actually all 3 dungeons he needs. He has access to Sea, Earth, and Volcano.
Mm-hmm.
All he needs to do at this point is find that key, and he can be in full-on go mode minus the grind, or grind and then go mode, depending on what order he gets.
And with that in mind, Phoenix is checking the waterfall first.
Understandable, it's got 1 incentive tile. It also has some pretty good encounters if you can find those Gasties or the Mud Gulls. And so said, Mud Gulls are found, Fade doing some good damage, Mage Stick doing a bit cooking the Terracotta, and Serisan choosing instead not going to the Honorant Continent is checking the field above the desert and possibly going to Ordeals.
I think, I want to say in the southeastern part, there was the Tyro. If it wasn't on the first encounter, it was definitely on the second one. I think I believe it was on the second encounter on the northwest one as well.
Yep, the Steak and Wings pack. some red steak and chicken. And he is done checking with his grinds. Is he going to go ahead and move that way towards Ordeal, or is he just gonna head back and check some quicker pickups? Defense Sword is not exitable. That is that is a ruse cast item, and there's the key.
Oh, yep, there it is.
And a ribbon.
Nice, +2 as well.
The best armor just made that much better. He's gonna go ahead and keep the pro ring and on the thief. So he's gonna have the fast cast item on the red page.
I don't think he equipped the ribbon.
He definitely put it on the character, but you're right, he may not have. Let's see if he remembers that. Meanwhile, Serisan's still in that desert on the way to Ordeals, checking on some, or munching on some sandworms. He seems to have found something off of the first reset that he wants, and something off the second that he'll take to. He could also be taking these to get rid of his party members to focus all that experience on the black belt, because once the black belt's above 20 levels or so, it is pretty much on the go mode to punch.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Phoenix could actually use something of a grind here. He could save outside of the waterfall and go in and take that first encounter on those mud goals if he wants to take that as something of a grind, but understandably he is just gonna leave. Serisan putting that thief up front, stoned, got the solo active black belt, going to take that solo grind on the sandworms.
The sandworm is given as well as he's getting right now, though.
Very true. It's a risky strat with that low amount of hit points he has, and not having high enough levels to have 6 or more punches. Meanwhile, Phoenix has stayed on the Onrek continent and has jumped right into the waterfall.
The shrine, you mean?
Sea Shrine, I should say.
And is also not even bothering with the mermaids, just going to see if we can find any extra gear or something, just going straight to Kraken.
Bubbles may well not get carbonated in this, or on Phoenix's side, because he knows where the loot is, he knows he just needs gold, so all he needs is 3 orbs and some XP on his party. So taking this run to, or Phoenix taking the run down and taking these tiles at the bottom. Ooh,
oh, hello.
That is a scary pack 99.9% of the time, especially at the relatively low levels that our runners are at currently.
Oh, the Lit 3 will help.
Lightning is very effective against sea creatures, it seems. 180 hit points hit on that black belt does not help.
Nope.
Defense sword to ruse it up to keep it survivable. Meanwhile, the thief getting chunked down as Fade comes out. Looks like it's going to sweep the party, get some experience for Phoenix's standing party. Serisan hard grinding that solo, is up over 20 levels, got 6 hits. As long as he keeps his body alive, he can gain a lot of experience. 7,000 per 25 up. He's looking to get to 32 or above, where he starts getting that 8+ hits and those total levels, which dictate his actual attack. So that's the interesting thing with the black belt. The black belt's levels dictate the damage it's dealt, not the strength.
And get your facts out. We've got an Agama.
It's not on a safe encounter tile. That is the only risk that he has taking it, but I can see why he's taking it here. If he wants to take this grind now before going to Tia, if he doesn't expend too much of his assets doing so, doesn't look like the Agama's casting anything super dangerous either. And nope, the Sage did not have the ribbon on him.
Nope.
Now, I understand why Phoenix just put the ribbon on the black belt, but a side effect of that is instead of the black belt's naturally growing toughness, its absorb that grows with each level, it now has the absorb of just the ribbon. So it's actually higher probability of damage being dealt to it, with the advantage of less damage being dealt to it by spells. It is a give and take move, and man is Serisan buffing up 543 hit points on that black belt. Confident enough that he's not bothering to heal all the way, he's just healing up till he's safe. Got 30 levels on it now.
Mm-hmm.
There you see the power of the punch can, 600 plus damage off of 6 hits, and this is going to be a black belt that at level 42 is going to hit 10 times.
Yeah, so whatever that black belt is aiming at is going to get chunky salsa pretty quick.
I wouldn't say that the sandworms are the gods of the desert, at least not on this planet. Then again, pounding some sandworms to get some spice, that might explain the swollenness of the black belt.
That was 114 damage to that black belt on Phoenix's side. That's a little concerning.
Again, that's the disadvantage of the absorb issue with the ribbon. This Agama doesn't seem to be casting anything. Really, I think he just put that ribbon on there in case he gets an off-step encounter.
Yeah.
To keep it alive in case of like a seafood party pack or something. But even then, he's really risking the damage coming onto his party. I mean, it's just hard. You see Serisan taking this overworld grind, he's getting less experience per fight, or similar to, but he's also able to save after each fight. It's far safer.
Definitely.
Hybrid Grievous, it's not necessarily that it reduces the absorb. The way absorb works with the black belt, it scales up with his levels, but if you put any armor on that black belt, it removes that and switches the absorb to the absorb of the armor total. So if he just has a ribbon +2, he only has the absorb of ribbon +2, which at his current levels is substantially less absorb than what he would have if he just had no armor on. And it's even more exacerbated when he gets to even higher levels, because the biggest advantage of the black belt, other than its godly punching power, is that at level 42 it essentially has the the MDef growth to be effectively wearing a ribbon. So that ribbon, right now, it makes it a little more capable of surviving magic, but those hits from that Agama are actually doing more damage. Actually, ironically, the monk loses the MDef growth advantage that the black belt does, so if you were to promote in the vanilla game and level up to level 42, you would have less MDef as a monk having done so than if you just upgrade the raw black belt. Part of the reason why these flag sets set up the way it is without the ribbon, or without the tail and with the forced black belt, is to essentially force our racers to prioritize the punch cannon.
Oh, I'm not sure if chat was referring to the class changed version. They might have just been thinking of like Final Fantasy V terminology or something.
Ah, fair enough.
Phoenix is at 29. And looks like Serisan is done with their grind.
And Serisan, the advantage. Oh, another advantage of where he took that grind. He just got plenty of gold. He is getting his loot.
Ah, yes. And that was at 46,000. Yes.
That puts him a dive into the waterfall away from go mode, having already put in a substantial grind. He has not maxed out. He still has 3 fiends to fight, but he will get that max out with those later actions. In fact, there he goes. He's going straight to the Almanac Continent. We know that is the correct move.
And it was the Oxyl was out of Cardia, right?
The Oxyale was Sarda's item. Instead of getting the rod from him, we got the Oxyale.
Okay. Well, so what? Oh, it was the rod that was out of Cardia, which I don't think Serisan had gotten yet.
I do not believe so. No, Serisan did not go to Cardia like Phoenix did. It looks like Serisan revived his 2 casters, is going to go ahead and save up, and in fact, he even unstoned his thief. I kind of find that interesting. But he is going straight into sea. That means he's probably going to end up checking mermaids.
Phoenix is up to level 35 now.
At this point, getting that ribbon off that black belt is more and more reasonable because he's now got Absorb that can sap most of what the magic can do to him. We will see if he does that, but hey, 8 hits for over 1,000 damage. This punch cannon is truly going to be online sooner than later.
Oh yes.
And this is the advantage you're seeing of that encounter on a spike tile. It's literally 1 move up, 1 move down, or what have you, and you're right back into the fight. Whereas Serisan, yes, he had the security of saving, but he did have to walk after reloading from that save to get that encounter in the encounter table. Spike tiles are generally faster, if not unsafe in comparison. Meanwhile, Serisan having ground, having his party up, going straight past the Sharknado floor and is on Kraken's floor.
40.
I assume Phoenix is going to stick with the level 42 crit point. Get that 10 hits.
I noticed that Serisan had stopped at 40. Is up to 41 now.
Get that encounter he had just taken with the Gershark and the Big Eyes, or what have them. Basically just XP pinatas. It's a very good encounter to take if you can.
And that's 42.
The answer to life, the world, and everything. The Big Eyes look like they are dazzling, but Phoenix gonna take that fight. Beelzebub.
Ah, yes. Yep, the first of our, I guess, custom fiends. Which, if they have custom weaknesses, and if you don't have such things shuffled like we do, they have their own move pools as well. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Oh! Dear, that's not good.
Oh my, that is no good, and worse off, that is a forfeit from Phoenix. He is understandably sad having just finished his grind.
Yeah, losing your grind like that, that definitely hurts.
Now, the good news here is this is a upper bracket match. He is not out of the tournament. This is a double elimination tournament, so we will be seeing Phoenix race again. But it never feels good to get that far.
No. But that's that's the thing. When you're doing a grind, when you're that deep in a dungeon, that's the risk you take.
Yeah, honestly, if he had taken that ribbon off, I think he might have survived that because the ribbon sapped his absorb. Even then, those those lobsters are always, they hit so stupid hard
Yeah.
and come in
See,
packs.
even on a good day, the lobsters are never. A lobster pack like that is never something you want to deal with.
Meanwhile, Saracen in and out of Waterfall with the key does not have the cube. So if he goes back into sea and checks what the mermaids have, he'll probably, I believe we know he will find the cube.
Mermaids won't have anything because there's the
it's
Fiend
not
to Fiend dungeons
incentivized.
are not
I'm an
incentive.
idiot. Pardon me. Candaria locked at this point is the only other place that he has not checked other than Ordeals.
And Cardia.
Yes. Which he seems to be going to because it's the most logical thing to do here. He will be in go mode.
And there's the rod, and there is the go mode.
Not bothering to check the Hall of Giants is in full-on hardcore go mode. Honestly, in Saracen's case, I'm shocked he hasn't moved the black belt at the front of his party. The first party member in the party affects the morale of the enemy encounters, so it's possible at a high level black belt up front for that most encounters in Earthgate to literally just run away from you.
No, I understand having the thief still in the front because I believe that's a greater chance of having a first strike, which would just be free and just have a better chance of running away in general. I would think.
There is very much a trade-off there, but yes, it has a higher chance of first strike and a higher probability of run. Unfortunately, unlike Mother on the NES, we do not have an auto win function where if the encounter occurs and your party is just that much overpowered, they win. You just say that much overpowered that, well, there was a stoppage immediately after a speed bump.
And if Saracen, and there was a bit of a blip in the feed there. If Saracen had checked the chest by the vampire, we did not see what was in it.
No need to worry about it at this point. Saracen is straight through the armory floor, straight onto the lich floor. He is a speed bump and a carry away from going full on into Toph. Unfortunately, Saracen does not have clean audio, so now that Phoenix is down, unless Phoenix's audio is still up, we are at a loss.
And we got Ifrit as the Fiend of Earth today.
I would happily serenade the stream with some music, but you know that's never going to happen. For everyone's sake, Saracen through that Ifrit kill. Fiend of Fire has been defeated in Earth. And Saracen's straight on to Volcano, gonna beeline it to the carry floor and deal with an actual Fiend of Fire or something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that Saracen doesn't need the cube, although he does not need the cube, because in this flag set we have a 3-orb requirement, and it's any orb that he wants, so he can skip the Sky Shrine or Skydive altogether, since he has access to Earth and Sea, which he has dealt with. So this is the Volcano kill, and he will be in Toph.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Classic Gamer, in chat. Clarify.
Getting bit of dragon XP for the road. Sometimes it's when it's an enemy like that. Sometimes it's better to just blast through it and get the XP than to try to run from it.
Well, that only makes sense to have more, because you get more strength, you get more everything. And yeah, he brought that black belt up to full punch cannon status, but Gilgamesh is nothing of a slouch, so the thief taking a huge chunk of health. I do believe Gilgamesh is the mighty warrior of Babylonian myth.
Yes.
And an eternal.
Although, as far as Final Fantasy lore goes, he's largely just a goofball with a whole bunch of swords.
Understandably so. Serisan done with his 3 orbs, going straight into Toph. We have the short Toph enabled, so they do not have to dive off of floors. So he's straight into the Fiend fights. He also only has to fight 2 of the Fiends, going left side. Gonna deal with Ifrit, and gonna go ahead and deal with, I believe, the Sky Fiend, which we have not seen. Nope, that is the Fire Fiend.
Nope.
So left side is Earth, then Fire.
Alright,
just
and
like that, on to the final fight. Go ahead and take it away.
Yep, and it is a random fight, so we'll see what our final encounter is here. Could be chaos, could be something else entirely. And it's... I'm not sure what this is.
It is a mixture of Apps, Black Knights, and Cobras, all with the same color palette, so you don't know which is which.
I was more wondering about what the Black Knight was.
Well, it seems like the front 2 rights are our Black Knights, given their ability to survive the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Black Knights with Saber. Hopefully they will not survive. The punch cannon comes online, takes out the one that didn't Saber itself, but there's 1 target left and 1 punch cannon. This should be a 1-hit kill. Oh, I'm wrong. The evasive Black Knight. And that is it. That is GG for Serisan, the winner of our race. Or forfeit or not, he did an amazing job with this race, and we applaud him.
It turns out that particular final boss is referred to as the Snake Pit. So it's Tiamat 1, Tiamat 2, and Asps and Cobras in various combinations. And we have Serisan here in the booth. GG.
Hello, and thank you.
Gotta love the grind right near Gaia, so you can get your experience, you can get your loot, and you can get going.
You know, I gotta say, I was actually frustrated with those sandwiches because they kept hitting me. And, like, you know, you're just kind of flipping the coin with the turn order, and I kept losing. So, you may have seen a little bit of rage heals, you may have seen some frustration about not having a house to just full heal. Yeah. It was an annoying grind, but it was a good enough.
Well, it seemed to have been the safer choice. Unfortunately, you saw what Phoenix had chosen to do and what unfortunately happened with all those sea bugs.
Yeah, with the 10-minute delay, you know, I hopped in to see the stream, and it was a minute and a half before he forfeit.
Oof.
And you know, it's a risky place to grind. You know, you look at that location, it is a little rough. I was not going to trust a location like C. I didn't even see what the tile was. I got in right as he walked away from it.
It was Agama.
Yeah. And given there was comment about him having the ribbon, I'm going to guess that he also did ordeals before ice.
No.
The ribbon was in, I believe, the waterfall.
No, yeah, there was a ribbon in the waterfall, yeah.
Oh, in one of the chests I didn't check?
Yep.
Awesome.
There was a defense sword there too.
Oh, defense sword's nice. I mean, it's got its uses. Not in this flag set, really. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
much more of a like glass cannon, rocket tag situation.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Phoenix got tagged by a whole bunch of lobsters. So, even if unfortunately, Phoenix did have the ribbon equipped, which even though it was a ribbon +2, that's still only 3 absorb against a pack of lobsters.
Yeah, 3 versus 42 absorb is a pretty big difference. But I mean, lobsters hardly care.
Yeah, the lobsters probably would have. Unless, well, I don't know if that was. I don't even remember if that was an ambush round or not, or if it was just bad turn order.
I think it was just bad turn order or a failed run. I saw the input. But yeah,
Well-
this was a kind of odd seed. It took me until I was headed to ice to see that there was that gap between the second and third encounter on the overworld. So, good 15-20 minutes of just fumbling around in the dark with the encounter table. I was like, there's 2 quick encounters. Cool. And never paid attention to anything else.
Well, you pay attention more than I do, so.
It's part of why I walk the way out of Canaria that I do. Like, most people will try to take as many free tiles as possible. I want to know if I get an encounter by the time I leave the forest there. And that's like the indication that I absolutely need to check desert. That's just my little test at the beginning of a seed. And yeah.
Well, in general, let's just go ahead and get your thoughts on this seed from the get-go.
Anytime that I see slab and bottle that early, I'm very disappointed. I was very happy with the ship being the only chest I checked in Marsh. Yeah, everything seemed to just route naturally, if not hilariously, and that's all you can really hope for, right?
Yeah, things just kind of went one fetch quest into the next until you got the floater out of Patoya.
Yeah. So, did Phoenix do ordeals at all?
No,
No.
he did not.
Okay.
Neither of you did.
Well, then, after the interview, I'm going to hit reset, and I'm going to find out what's in Canaria so I can know what was in ordeals. Because there's an incentive ribbon, and there's a cube, and that's it. And I, frankly, if I would have checked and it was the cube, man, I would have skipped Earth in a heartbeat. I was actually kind of banking on getting the cube before the rod, and I don't know if you caught it, but while I was going through Volcano, there was a point where I stopped, just paused, looked at the screen, and then started walking again. And it was to double check that I wasn't 42 yet on the black belt, that I hadn't gotten that last level. And so I was like, all right, I need to get a little bit of experience, which is why I punched the red D. And,
yeah.
And then I think I hit 42 killing, was it Gilgamesh at the bottom of Volcano?
Yeah.
Like, could not have been more perfect. I was gonna walk over into Toflocked if it didn't pan out, but yeah, just did not have the 10th hit yet until the very end of Volcano, and yeah, once you get the snake pit, you're like, all right, well, the first round is wasted. What happens on the second round? And yeah, it ended up being a non-issue. Like, seeing the saber was a little scary. If that was the Tia 2 equivalent, that would have been frightening. It may still have been the Tia 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know like what order those things, especially when they're all the same color, so you can't really tell which one's which in the first place.
The only hint that I had was that I only got 5 hits, which could just be scaled up, enough. The percentages on these flags are enormous, so. But yeah, seed otherwise felt good, if not slow. Seeing an almost 50-minute seed is a little rough when you're, when you've pushed down into the 37s and I think a 36 at one point. So, like, you get back to a 49 and you're like, ugh, this is no, a little slimy.
Indeed, when you have a 3-orb requirement, you'd assume it'd be a little faster, especially when the punch cannon comes online so relatively easily. But that your grind plus it was pretty linear, but it also was pretty zigzag at times.
Made it as straight a line as I could.
Okay. Melee Wizard, any final thoughts on this race?
Just looking at the brackets, Phoenix is not out of the tournament. We do have a losers bracket, but looks like we don't have your next opponent yet. Looks like it'll be the winner of Budgimano and
Not Young Me.
And
not Young Me. Okay, I misread that name.
So here's a couple things that I'm going to say right now. So Phoenix, I'm sorry that you have the extra match to get to our finals rematch dream. So if you look at the bracket, Phoenix and I are one of the two unfortunate folks that have a losers round 1 match.
I see this now. Yes.
And so, Phoenix, you're going to have to work for it. Love you, buddy.
Yep. And Phoenix will be going up against the loser of Min versus Jesus the Frog.
Yeah, and I think Jesus and Min didn't race in the qualifiers at all, so that's why they're where they're at. So we'll see how that turns out. Budge versus Not Young Me is a scary race, and it's actually kind of funny when you look at the qualifiers and their seeding. Not Young Me is seeded 14th, and Budge is seeded 3rd. Not Young Me only did 1 race, so there were 2 penalty races applied on the qual time, and that's why his seed is so low. That's actually a super. Well, I guess I'm looking at the challenge right now. It says 3rd and 14th next to him.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yep.
Chanigan was 2nd. But yeah, they are way closer in skill, and they are both top tier runners. Not Young Me has put on some great performances. Budge, the former Duckling Supreme, if I recall, and he's a fantastic runner. So that's going to be a great match to watch when it comes up. And I'm scared of both of them, so we'll see what happens.
Well, scared for good reasons and scared for bad reasons. Either way, we're all hyped to see the races.
Oh, yes.
Sad ending to this race, but a good race all the same. Thank you so much, Serisan, for entertaining us. Thank you to my co-commentator, Mr. Melee Wizard, and obviously our tracker Socket. You were saying, Serisan?
So to answer a thing that was being asked in chat, I don't have any sound on my stream because I don't want to get copyright struck. Because I also don't use OBS. I'm very, very simple man, and I don't have a way to differentiate the audio, and therefore all of my music flies through. So that's why you don't get any sound from me. I don't even have music in the ROM when I play. So yeah. Sorry,
so
guys.
you're just listening to your own stuff when you're racing, huh?
Yeah, I actually have to disable the music in the rando site. That was a feature that I requested. Funny enough, because with the screen setup I have, the computer freaks out on the emulator a little bit, and it causes some really gnarly audio. So yeah, I have to have the music disabled just in the ROM, so all I get are the fanfares, and or not even the fanfares, like they throw their hands in the air, but it's just menu noises.
I cannot imagine personally playing this game without the audio cues, but all props to you.
Dude, I play this game by sense of smell, alright? Like, I am just like the pinball wizard.
Well, unfortunately, I am not a Who fan to the knowledge that... Oh wait, yes I am. Obviously I got that reference. I hope all of us did. at this point, I think we should probably go ahead and end it and leave this channel back to our gracious host, Speed Gaming, for anyone else to use. With that, thank you, Speed Gaming, once again. I have been Thavian Hawk. If you want to get into this beautiful speedrunning community of Final Fantasy Randomizer, just feel free to go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. There you will find the randomizer itself, as well as links to the wikis with guides, the link to the Discord where you'll find people like Serisan, a member of our Duckling crew, who actually teaches other new players, such as myself, to play this randomizer. It's a very fun and easy thing to get into.
I try to make it that way.
That all being said, y'all have a very good evening, and for all those in America, I hope you have a very good holiday weekend.